We're trying to celebrate the International Day of Peace, which is on the 21st of September. So this is one of the events leading up to that. I would like to express my appreciation to Ambassador Janice da Silva for organizing this party, and to Maria and so many other speakers that will be here. I will do my best within the ambits of the time to project a few opinions forward. So my name is Dr. Patricia Ngene. I'm a radiologist by profession. I'm also a life coach, and I have a lot of interest in joy, living life with joy. So I will say that we're talking about peace, emotional and spiritual intelligence for peace building. As you have said, peace is very important. How do we make peace? Why is it necessary for us to achieve peace? Why do we seek after peace? As we talked about yesterday, we are 8 billion people, almost 8 billion human beings on this planet, in one space. So if without peace, we will not be able to live or coexist in harmony. Man is a social animal, okay? And it's imperative that beyond the demands of inner peace, yesterday we talked about having inner peace. So it's important not only that each of us should strive to have inner peace, but that there should also be peaceful interactions with other people within our sphere of influence. So to build one's inner peace, as well as extend peace in our interpersonal relationships, both spiritual and emotional intelligence is required. Emotional intelligence is one of the intelligence competencies. We're quite familiar with the IQ, the intelligence quotient. That skill measures cognitive intelligence, that is brain intelligence, mind intelligence. But we're now getting to understand that the intelligence of the emotions, of the feelings, is very important. And this is a concept that was coined by Peter Salovey and John Mayer in 1990. It's a very recent trend, really, to begin to study emotional intelligence. And that's why it's overlooked and it's quite underrated. But it is a very, very important skill that one must try to master to achieve peace within yourself and with other people. There's also Daniel Goleman, who also with these other two gentlemen worked on this emotional intelligence. And what it means basically is that the emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, to use and manage your own emotions, and also manage the emotions of whoever you're communicating with, to achieve effective communication, and also to understand and empathize with others as well, to enable you manage stress and conflicts and overcome challenges. So you see that it's quite a loaded competence. There are so many soft skills that are embedded inside emotional competence or emotional intelligence. Okay, so the emotional intelligence on its own has several components. There are different models, but the most common model elaborated by Daniel Goleman, who also authored a bestseller called Emotional Intelligence. There are 5 components to emotional intelligence. And the first one is self-awareness. And what self-awareness means is for you to be able to recognize your own emotions, understand what you are thinking, understand what you are feeling and how it is affecting yourself and affecting the person you are relating with. Those who have this skill of self-awareness, they know what they are feeling. They know why they are feeling it. And they understand how what they're feeling affects their behavior and their performance and their relationships. So when you know what is going on, you are able to begin to, rein it in. If you understand, that by the raising of your voice, it means that you're beginning to get irritated, you are aware of it. So you immediately rein it in so that the communication is managed effectively and it doesn't degenerate and the absence of peace is war. So this is how self-awareness helps. People who are self-aware, they're also aware of their strengths and weaknesses. A lot of people do not know what they are good at or what they are bad at. They just live as they live. They are very unconscious in their living. But when you are self-aware, it is even, you live on a higher plane in that you know you know your capabilities, and you know where you are weak, so that you can avoid your weaknesses and concentrate on your strengths. When you're self-aware, you're also able to learn from your previous experiences. And not only that, when people give you feedback, you are open to feedback. A lot of people are not open to criticism. When you are a person who is self-aware, you are open, you take all, even criticism as feedback. You don't take it personally and storm off and cut off the line of communication. You simply take it as feedback. And then you open your mind. You open your mind to new perspectives, because no one person knows everything. And then you're open to learning. Someone can teach you, even a child can teach you. So you're open to learning, so you're able to modulate your behavior to achieve peace. Also, self-development is something, you may not necessarily wait until you're presented with a situation where you have to learn in an emergency. You are always open to learning, and you are consciously trying to learn and to study. People who are self-aware, they're also flexible. And as I said before, they are willing to be criticized. They're willing to be wrong. And they also have a sense of humor, because no one person knows everything. We are human, we are fallible, we can make mistakes. So when you are in that frame of mind, it helps you not to take yourself so seriously. It even helps your self-confidence. And you're also able to have independent opinions. You're not afraid of failing. So that is what self-awareness, which is one of the pillars of emotional intelligence, can do. The next pillar of emotional intelligence is self-regulation. When you're able to regulate yourself, you have self-control. Somebody doesn't need to hold a red flag to you and say, look, cool it, cool your temper down. You're able to control yourself. You're able to manage your disruptive impulses. Even if you suddenly get angry, you're able to take a deep breath and, of course, look at the big picture and say, it is not in my interest to allow this situation to escalate. And so you're able to stay composed and positive, even under stress. And you're able to think clearly, even in that stressful situation. When you have this ability to self-regulate yourself, people can rely on you to maintain a certain standard of good behavior. Your team can rely on you to carry an agenda without alienating the opposing team. Your team can rely on you to hold yourself accountable. You don't need to wait for somebody to warn you before you bring out your best behavior. So you're able to be organized and careful in your dealings. These are all things that are very important, even as team leaders and people who are trying to build peace. As a person who is self-regulative, or who can regulate himself or herself, you're also creative, you're flexible. You know that sometimes you're handling multiple tasks. There may suddenly be a situation where you need to change the priority. Maybe you had so many things to do, and you had an order in which you wanted to do them, but something comes up. You're able to quickly rearrange the priorities and shift things around. So when you're flexible and creative, you are able to do things better and achieve your goals. And you're able to also to think creatively. You're able to think outside the box. You're able also to generate new ideas and take risks in thinking. So you are liberated from the compulsion to think that you know it all and that you have all the answers. You're open, you're flexible, you're creative, and you're adaptable. Another thing that emotional intelligence, another pillar of emotional intelligence that can help peace building is being self-motivated. That's the third pillar, self-motivation. People who have the skill of self-motivation, they tend not to need someone to push them. They always strive to improve on standards of excellence. They strive to meet goals. They set goals and they take calculated risks to meet those goals. They study information so that they reduce their amount of uncertainty and improve their chances of success. They're also committed to corporate goals. Like if you're in a team and you have someone who is self-motivated, they are committed to meeting the goals of the team. They're able to sacrifice their own personal goals for the goals of the team. So they're able to find a sense of purpose within the team, and they're good team players and leaders. They also are able to take initiative and even exceed expectations and go the extra mile to get the job done. In building peace, sometimes you will meet obstacles. Sometimes you will meet roadblocks. When you are emotionally intelligent, you will be able to go further than one would have expected. The fifth one is social skills. As I said before, we are all social animals. and we require a certain degree of social intelligence to be able to manipulate, or rather to be able to navigate relationships and maintain peace within ourselves. So when you are the social skills, some of them are empathy. When you're able to understand the other person's point of view and understand the perspective of the other, realizing that you are not the only one who is here. There are people who are living in other countries, other cultures, other religions, other statuses in life, and you are able to flow with them all. Being able to understand other people's points of view is empathy. Another thing that is part of social skills is having an attitude of service. When you are waiting to be served always, you're not a good leader. So when you are willing to serve and understand other people's points of view, it helps in building peace across the board. Also, having a mind to develop others and create a legacy is one of the things, the social skills that helps peace building. Another thing is having an attitude to diversify your impact. Don't keep it all to yourself. Have the mind that you are here and you're here to make as much impact on the world as possible. So these are the 5 pillars of emotional and intelligence that I've tried to elaborate. And emotional intelligence is a kind of way station between the mind that's your head knowledge and your heart, okay? It enables you to be more amenable, enables you to cultivate and maintain relationships, enables you to build stable families and friendships, enables you to work efficiently in a team, and also to be more self-governing as an individual. It can help you to have better self-control, self-motivation, as I've said, self-awareness, and create a conducive work environment and make a better team. There is another thing, we're talking about emotional and spiritual intelligence. The other competence we're trying to address today is spiritual intelligence. This is a little known type of intelligence, which is a higher dimension of intelligence. It activates the qualities and potentials of the soul. It uses competencies such as wisdom, compassion, integrity, love, joy, creativity, and peace. And spiritual intelligence is not necessarily about just religion, although it is part of it, but it means having a sense of meaning and purpose in your life. Spiritual intelligence is actually a skill. It is an aptitude, and it enables people. It's a bit related to emotional intelligence, but it draws its strength from the spirit, from the higher self, and it subdues the ego and brings forth the spirit of the person, which is the part of us that is connected to the creator. The human being has 3 natures within us. We have a triune nature. So there are kind of 3 parts in one person. So man is actually a soul that lives in a body with a spirit component, and it is the spirit component that drives the person. The soul comprises man's mind, his will, and his emotions. And that's the sensory part of man that is subject to all his desires and inclinations. Whereas the spirit is the part that seeks to communicate with God. It is the part that has the conscience and the moral qualities. So when you are able to be connected to your spirit, which connects you to God, you are able to live from the inside out. You're able to subdue your own personal fleshly inclinations, which, the selfish part of you, you're able to subdue it to the higher good, which is what God requires of us, which is what the spirit requires of us. So when you put the emotional intelligence and the spiritual intelligence together, it gives you a good combination for you to be able to be a catalyst and a peace builder. I hope I've not overlabored the point, but these are the few thoughts that I have to contribute to this discussion today. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Wow. Wow, that's a good one. Thank you so much, Madam Patricia. I think I have a take home there, talking about self-awareness. So learning from your past experience and managing, being able to manage it very well. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate that. Okay, over to you. Let's have a priest, Ambassador Justin Kene. Are you ready? Are you ready for?
Hello?
You? Okay,
Can you
good.
hear me?
Hello,
Can you
good
hear?
day.
Yes,
Yeah,
good morning.
good, good.
Good day, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm so delighted once again to be with you today in this conversation, especially because it has to do with something very important. You know, I don't really have a formal education on peace and justice and so on, but I'm so much involved in larger issues of justice and peace. And also as a priest, I have a lot of experiences because I've encountered people. Because as a priest, we believe in going to confession, you know. And I will tell you that most of the people I have encountered in the confessionary, the most sin that they try to confess is the inability to handle their hearts. And in all of us, we all experience hurts in one way or another. We all experience being wounded, maybe from the lesser point of not being given a invitation, maybe for someone who loves you. He didn't give you invitation for his marriage. You feel hurt. And sometimes we have a larger one at the larger level. Maybe we talk about betrayers from even the most trusted friends. You also talk about abuse, for example. All these things can trigger emotions. And how we respond to these emotions are very, very important. And I think that is where what we are talking about today is very, very significant. Emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence. And meanwhile, let me thank Patricia Nkene for the exposition she gave. It was quite interesting. At least I got a lot of things about both emotional and spiritual intelligence. So the way we handle our hearts, they either make us grow or they put obstacles on our way of growth, both human growth and spiritual growth. You know, the instinct that comes to us personal sometimes is to guard our hearts. We store them, and sometimes we say that nothing is happening. You know, and when somebody asks you, for example, how do you feel? Are you in touch with your emotions? It's fine, it's normal, it's okay. But we brood certain thoughts within us. And what these horses, what they do is to create or build a legacy of resentment, of anger, of rancor, of malice, of retaliation, of vengeance. They build them in our thoughts, they build them in our memories, they build them in our hearts. And once that happens, it's like a virus that continues to infest and destroy everything concerning us. So stored up thoughts can destroy our spirits and puts us in a life of misery. You know. So how to respond or how to react to thoughts is very, very important for peace. You know, and you know when they say that peace is not the absence of war, you know, it's not the absence of war. So, but the most important war we fight now is peace, because we do what we do. We come here to speak about peace because peace utilizes every of our activities. Of course, without peace, nothing happens. Without peace, we cannot be talking about stability in all the social and political institutions. And without peace, even the little development we must have achieved in the time of fragile peace or in time of uneasy peace can be destroyed at a trigger. Just a trigger of violence can destroy the little development we have achieved. So peace, like it says, it begins with you and I, you know. So I heard in Guinea, Patricia talked about what was discussed, I think the last conversation about internal peace. And it's very, very necessary because once we don't have personal peace, you don't give what you don't have. It is from what you have that flows to others. So personal peace or internal peace is quite important if you are going to have peace among communities, peace in the neighborhood, peace among nations, and you talk about global peace. So I think it was Confucius who said that if you want to change the whole world, you start by changing yourself. So Confucius said that, and it's very, very important. So you see, emotional intelligence can be used positively and negatively from what I have understood. You know, it can be used positively. It can also be used negatively because it's about being conscious of our emotions, our feelings. You know, it's about being conscious and being able to handle them. But it can also be used to manipulate others. And when you use emotional intelligence to manipulate others, and in the long run, they discover that they have been manipulated, you see, it can make reconciliation too difficult to achieve. It can make that reconciliation difficult to achieve. I give you an example. Sometimes in our relationship with the haves and the have-nots, the have-nots, or the rich and the poor, you see, sometimes they take the decision, they think for us, they do for us. Just like say you give dog bone to eat, and when when the dog gets hungry and didn't find bone, the dog can turn to attack its owner. You know, they say we think for you, we make decisions for you, we give you something to eat while you remain dependent. And our system has been constructed in such a way that we continue to remain dependent. You see, so because when you are building peace and you are being in such a way that you think that others have no rational capacity, therefore you do everything for them, give them what they want, and keep them short from taking decisions or from thinking for themselves. It can make the peace fragile because you may have peace that is still uneasy, and people continue to live in their situation. I take for example, in my country, Nigeria, they have already known our emotions, especially the young ones. They know that during the time of elections, that people will come to vote, and they play on this emotion. What they do during the time of election, they come out, they sponsor youths, give them clothes, give them money, give them food items, you know, just to make them think that they are identifying with their situation. They go to the market, identify with the market women, you know, give them something, buy something from them that is $1 and pay $5. They enter motorcycle, you know. These are ways they manipulate our emotions. It's also part of emotional intelligence, you know, being used in the negative way. And when it's being used this way, it cannot actually bring about stable, just, and sustainable peace in our society. So when you apply this, being conscious of our emotions, and it stops there, then it is only serving the ego. It's only serving the ego, and the ego always seeks for satisfaction. The ego uses the moment to as a means to the next. You know, the ego is never satisfied. So they use the moments of crisis that may emerge to satisfy their own interest. So you see, these kind of things, they even happen when we have crisis in Africa. Some people are benefiting from the crisis. That is why some countries outside Africa will be very interested that there is violence somewhere, that there is conflict somewhere, so that they can sell their arms. You know, so when this happens, for example, you think that you are bringing peace, but the same peace people are sponsoring, are trying to build, there are some of those who are stoking the embers of violence because they are benefiting from the violence. So you see, it is a way that emotional intelligence can be used negatively. So in the absence of spiritual intelligence, emotional intelligence only serves the ego, because at that level you're talking about emotions, you're talking about interest, you're talking about self, me, me, me. You see, the ego comes up. The ego is being displayed, talking about me. I want to feel the self-esteem. I want to gain this. I want to gain that. It's about my motivation. Now, what spiritual intelligence does is to process, synchronize our emotions. We are in touch with our emotions. We are in touch with the emotions of others. And that is why what I think Patricia and Guinness said comes to play. Because at this level of spiritual intelligence, we are talking about compassion, love, we're talking about wisdom, we're talking about integrity. So someone who is acting from the spiritual perspective, from the spiritual intelligence, will no longer be thinking about satisfying his ego, will no longer be thinking about the interest he's going to benefit, but will be thinking about the compassion, thinking about empathy, putting himself in the shoes of another. And this is the only way we can establish lasting, if not lasting, at least sustainable peace among communities, among ourselves, and even global peace. So you cannot achieve, for example, the goal of peace using the energies of the flesh, for example. You cannot achieve that using the energies of the flesh, that is your intellect, that is intellectual capacity, or using your emotions. It's not possible. You only achieve global peace using the energies of the spirit. And that is why compassion comes in to harness. And that is why spiritual intelligence, I think, is the most fundamental and the center of all intelligences, because it's the source of guidance to our emotions and to our thoughts. So the first is to notice a problem. And that comes from the intellect. A situation is on ground. Then the second is you are feeling it. You have the emotions. You feel the emotions. You identify with the emotions. You get in touch with it. You are tuned to it. Then the next one is to now apply this principle of spiritual intelligence will make you to respond. And in that case, in such situations, you are responding and not reacting. So you are peaceful both from the outer perspective and from the inner perspective, because you know within you, or you have developed within you the skill to identify with this, with the spiritual intelligence. So I think the three of them are very important in building peace, both intellectual intelligence, that is the IQ, intellectual quotient, both the emotional intelligence and the spiritual. So the spiritual organizes all of them. And once this is established in our localities, our states, our countries, and our world, you can be talking about sustainable peace. And that is why the last time I spoke, I talked about structures. You see, you cannot talk about peace without having structures. Most of us, we are born into a system where we know anger and malice, where we know rancor. But we need to restructure these systems. We need to create a kind of attitude in the people, attitude in the school curriculum. You see, they need to bring all this so that a child will know how to respond to his fellow child. So we may disagree. We may disagree on principles, on ideas, on doctrines. We may disagree, but we remain brothers. So what spiritual intelligence helps us to do is to know that we live in a community that is ours. So we need to be human in the community, and we live we need to create a community of humanity, that your problem is my problem, that we can build a world where we can live together. So we begin to inculcate those attitudes in our children while they are small. And when these attitudes, when we plant them now, it can be sustained because it becomes part of us. So that is what I'm talking about, structures. Once these structures are not there, then we grow up with the system. Once we grow up with the system that you're already used to, the system where we do things for our own selfish benefits, we are planning for peace, but it's to use the moment to satisfy our own interest. That is what really happens. You see, we have violence here and there, but some people are benefiting from the violence. So I think we begin now to think of possibilities of planting these structures in our schools, structures in our localities. We have national peace structure, we have international peace structure. And this can, I assure you that when we begin to think in this framework, we'll begin to talk about peace. If not, we're going to live in fragile peace. And fragile peace is not sustainable, because at the trigger of the embers of violence or conflicts, you see, even the small stability we have will be destroyed. They will be blown away. So let me not speak everything because there are many people
Yeah, thank
waiting.
you so much.
So I want
Thank you
to.
so much.
It's okay. Yeah. Mm.
Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate that. We greatly appreciate that.
Okay.
Building
Yeah. Yeah.
structure. Yeah, building structure. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
Bringing next on the show, Akib. Akib, are you there? Are you ready to share? You should share your thought on this
Yeah, yeah,
emotional and spiritual intelligence when it comes to peace building.
yeah,
Okay,
th-
you have the floor. Please let's make it brief
yeah.
because we have a whole lot of speakers
Yes, yes,
to
yeah,
feed us today.
yes.
Good.
I got the point, and
Over to
thanks a
you,
lot.
Ajit.
Thanks a lot, Joseph
Good.
Aquinola, for giving me the floor. And whenever I just found the speakers, many of the speakers from UN session, Miss Patrick Nije, she has already made a great voice, and another speakers who has also made the great voice. And I just come to share something with you, and I will just wrap up in brief. And firstly, all praise be to Almighty Allah, most merciful, most beneficial, who has given us the chance to present here amidst of COVID-19, when the world in a standstill, but we are here to represent, to talk about peace. And that's a great blessing for us from the part of Almighty. And I firmly believe that as we are talking about this, so I firmly believe that all the youths of the world will be very much inspired, will be very much impactful by this session. Because what are we talking about? Emotional and spiritual intelligence for peace building. And amidst of COVID-19, it's most the serious issues, because whenever we are just in a standstill into our house, we are confined into our house, we are maximum time, for the maximum time we are just depressed. And what should we do? We can't even think that. That's why we need our emotional balance, our spiritual balance. And for this reason, I just want to recite something. I want to recite what is peace effort. It's my, I am just trying. Heavenly sweet happiness, thrill of static, a singular desire, peaceful heart, peace. Everyone's message, everyone's dream, everyone's effort, peace. Peace. Everyone's desire of heart, then one gets it. Where's the bar? Where's the root of unrest? Where does the seed of unrest move around? From where does it strike on everyone's life? Soil, hill, mountain, water, air, cloud, rain, storm, cyclone, animal, bird, disease, suffering. Are they the central place of this equate? No, those are also parts of life. They are suffering at times, not at the ascent of creating unrest. Man's factory for unrest is his heart. The same heart is seeker of peace, factory of unrest. Jealousy, envy, lust, greed, Delia's arrogance, malice, or regal in the same heart, stealing others' wealth, snatching right, raping women, murder, plunder, all going under influence of saints. Peace stays as sweet juice at the tip of tongue. The mighty in his tongue, the honeycomb of peace. With his speech balloon, he spreads space by conceal, while plundering others' belongings, taking others' lives, extracting own interest doesn't imply talking others' life. Extracting one's interest doesn't imply by enjoying luxury of food upon blood to others, by destroying other nation, others country, other civilization. Wasting place flag is like building house of cards, is simply deceit, not a piece of fault. It's the sound, and I just want to say something. I just try to create something. What's peace effort, and what's our emotional and spiritual intelligence? Even if when we are confined, we have to think upon that. We have to create our balance between our emotion and our realistic judgment. And whenever we will be able to do that, I think that we can live well in the society, in our country, and we will be able to contribute for the world. And whenever we'll be able to follow our realistic judgment, when we'll be able to follow our religious view, then the spiritual intelligence will automatically put into our mind that what should we do and what shouldn't we do. I can remember one quotation from the Miracle Morning, that the degree to which you have the ability to change or create something is precisely equals to the degree to which you have the ability to take the responsibility for everything in your life. That's why we have to take the responsibility, as we have done this impactful session. Not through this impactful session, we have to be take our responsibility by our deeds. We have to come to a platform, then we have to decide what should we do, what can we do for the world, then we have to act accordingly. And we have an organization, International Youth Development Society, and I am trying to do something for the youth from our platform. As all of you are doing this from your part, so I firmly believe that for one time, when we will be successful, when we will be successful in our part, in our position, then the whole world will be in a peaceful situation. No worries, no constitution, no rhythm will be faithfully declared, like what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir, what is happening in Afghanistan, what is happening in Palestine, what is happening in Ladakh. No, we are just worried about this. Our political leaders, our high majesty should think about it. But this time, if they don't think this, we the youth should come forward. We have to knock them, sir, please think about this. We have to raise up our emotional and spiritual intelligence, and we have to show this among our international leaders. And by this, we can do something. And I will not lengthen my speech. That's from my part. Thanks a lot again for giving me the floor, and thanks a lot the audience for giving me the patient hearing. Thanks.
Wow, that was a wonderful one. Wow, that was a wonderful one. Thank you so much, Akib. I think that is also that also make a whole lot of sense when it comes to peace building. Thank you so much. Okay, I think I need to go to the next. Kim Harris, are you here? Are you ready for us? Kim Harris, are you on the call? Yeah, unmute yourself and let's hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Good.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, we can
How's
hear you.
everybody doing? Great,
Good,
great.
good.
Yeah, first off, thanks for allowing me to be here today. Such a wonderful conversation and such incredible panelists. I'd like to thank Patricia for her opening statement and summing up so well our discussion today. I was listening to the other panelists, and I have a little points that I would like to add to what they were saying as well. But when I think of emotional and spiritual intelligence, my mind goes straight to India. India can teach the world so much on this particular topic because they have a way of balancing their emotions. And as the gentleman Justin was saying, that balance is so well needed, in that the spiritual aspect of intellectuality has quite a benefit on the emotion. And I agree with that statement, because the spiritual side balances the emotions. And that should be a foundation for each and every person, regardless of what your religion is. You need that spiritual balance. Okay, and Mr. Justin also spoke about the negative aspects of your emotions being manipulated and things of that nature. But if you have that outstanding moral support and you have that spiritual intelligence, that negative actually should be changed into a positive. And that's something I've seen quite a bit in India. And I guess it's because of the spirituality, such an important aspect of the country. It balances the emotions. And I think they're an absolute incredible example of uh, emotional and spiritual intelligence. Um, I think the gentleman's name was Aquib. I think he did an outstanding job as well. And he spoke about taking responsibility. Um, I think it's absolutely important that you look into yourself and understand that you have the capability of changing the world yourself. And another aspect of that is a part of self is community. Communities develop selves, in my opinion. And it's so important to not only think about yourself, but other people around you, other countries, people all over the globe. It's so important. Um, Also, he spoke about taking the initiative. And I think it's important, as a global community, because that's where we are in the world right now. We are a global family. And it's important to understand, for me, I'm from the United States, and we don't always get the news in Africa or India or Nepal or China or Egypt, wherever. So as individuals, it's important for us to take the initiative to understand our global family and what's going on in the world in other areas. It's so important. I'm gonna cut it short there because Patricia did such an eloquent job at, speaking about the topic. But I just wanted to touch those points. And, it's just so important that we do look outside of ourselves and see that we are a global community and that we need to balance our emotional intelligence with the spiritual intelligence so that we can make wise choices regarding world peace. And it's easy, we can achieve it. We are peace. Each and every one of us are peace. We just need to apply it. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Kim Harris. That was a wonderful one, very, very brief and short. We greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joseph.
Thank you so much. Okay, on next, I want to bring in Muskan. Muskan, are you available? Are you ready for us now? Muskan, are you
Yeah,
on
thank
the
you, Joseph.
call?
Yeah, am I audible?
Welcome. We can't hear you. Welcome. You're audible. We all can hear you.
Yeah. Hi everyone. It's evening here.
Hello.
So yes, I am very much glad that I'm sharing this platform with you all. Though the name of my pictures and my name were not in the banner, I am here representing Global Thinker Society on behalf of Roman Smeda. So she was out because of some important reason. So here I am fortunate sharing my views on peace with you all. I'm very glad to meet you. I see Princess and very glad to meet you. Not taking too much time as I know that the time is limited. I just want to appreciate the words of the fellow speakers that has picked Ma'am Patricia and Justin saw and Kim saw, where they have an archive as well, where they have already gathered so much information on emotional intelligence and how can we build peace within self. And I definitely and truly believe in that. Let us just what I want to start it with, when you put salt in a glass, like a whole packet of salt, the glass of water will be very salty because it's limited, right? The glass is like this or this much. But if you put the salt, same amount of salt in the sea, it will go unnoticed. That is what we need to be. We need to be open, in my perspective, and in my view. When we are open to peace, we are open to everything, we are open to learning, and being open to learning is what I believe peace is. And I totally agree with Kim Saw what he has told on uh, peace begins within self. Have we ever wondered? I guess everyone here has already went through Google and many of the books there were many articles, there were many things that were talking on the peace, but how many of us really reflected the peace within self? The peace when we were trying to find out the sticking material that we are going to present today, or in our daily life itself. It just begins within self, right? So what I really believe is, when you think on yourself, when you start within yourself, and when you move out, before moving out to the society, before moving out to the world, and before having a concept of the global family, just realize the peace within self, and just think the peace within your family. I'm not quite sure of how many are you from the the woman, like in my society. Hi, I'm everyone. This is Muskan from Nepal. So here in Nepal, female are more dominated. I am not. My family are not, but there are women who are not being able to speak, who are not being able to confront the words, who are not able to do practice anything, and and it's the same. And the man from the same family, if talks about peace, I will not believe him, because if the peace is not within family, how can you advocate for the world? How can you advocate for the society? So I believe, before seeking peace in the outer place, before seeking and advocating or working for a peace outside the country, world, or for the people, we totally need to look, and we totally need to observe us first, and then our surrounding. As Kim So mentioned about how we practiced spirituality, and to bring emotional intelligence, and really soak the peace inside us, and think and utilize the peace that is within ourselves. So that is through the meditation we practice here in Nepal. Through the meditation, the we observe the peace, we take in account the peace that is all around it. So it is all about how can you soak the positivity in, and not let that negativity be inside you, and which presents your personality and ultimately the work that you are doing. So basically, in my perspective, and with the material that I went through, uh, I I am not quite sure if you guys have heard about Buddha. So Buddha is a goddess of Buddhism. So he promotes peace. He is a god of peace, I say. He's a god of meditation, right? What he says is, if you can't find peace within yourself, then you should stop it right there. You should not talk about peace. Just find your peace right here, right here. Right? I truly believe we here are global family from Bangladesh, from Nigeria, from around the country. So we are here to share our perspective. That is what we think of ourselves in. We are here to share like about the peace. What is peace in perspective of ourselves, of global and the society. So ultimately, that is what I wanted to sum up. I summing up my point of view that I'm going to put is, just start peace within yourself before you go out to the society. Start peace within your family before you move out to the world. Then peace will automatically follows you. It is all about thinking, and it's all about being open to learning, and open to everything that you do. So yes, this is Muskan Prasai from Nepal signing off, and I'm very glad that I am on behalf of Roman Smita, which is our global president. I am a country leader for Global Law Thinker Society, and it's my privilege representing Global Law Thinker Society to this global platform. And thank you so much, Joseph, and everyone present here for this beautiful opportunities. And yes, thank you so much. I'm
Welcome.
signing it off now. Thank you. Over to you, Joseph.
Welcome. a wonderful one. Peace begins with you. Peace begins with me. Wow. Peace begins with each and every one of us. Next, I bring Pia. Pia, are you available? Are you ready for us now? Hello, Pia. Are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
Yes, I'm
good.
here.
Can we please? I would like the other speakers to make it brief and short but precise, so that we
Okay,
can
thank
have
you.
it all. Don't. Yeah, good. Welcome on board. Thank you. Let's have you.
Yeah, warm greetings from me, and very happy to be here and talking on this emotional intelligence spirituality for peace building, and which is very much important in this stage. And this year's United Nations theme also, the shaping the peace together. So that means all our former speakers, they have spoken very wonderful, and all would stress on the peace start from me, and let's this peace start from me and extend to all of us. That means let's become the peacemaker and peace builder in this room. So that's how we can make that the world is peace, and where we can develop the spirituality and intelligent and emotion intelligent, what is called EI. That will be very contribute for the peace building. So as I have learned some philosophy that what you think you become.
Is that a network? It's gone. We can hear him again. It's gone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so sorry about that. Okay, you're still there?
Internet problem today. Yes, so how we control our mind is like emotional, intellectual is the balance where we can understand how to build peace building in this world, and to better understand your emotional skill. The first step to take is to familiarize yourself and with these four basic.
We can't hear him again. We can't hear him again. Well.
Okay, again.
Oh, maybe it is network.
Problem.
Okay.
Okay, so I
think your network is failing.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello. Okay, so I just like to point out the four basic components of emotional intelligence that is necessary. So the first one is self-awareness. And self-awareness is to know about yourself, who you really are. Then you will understand how to manage others. So the second one is the self-management. So once you know who you are, then you can manage how you want to be. And that's also very important parts. And the third one is social awareness. That is to, as the former speaker says, that we have to extend to the community. That is, once you know about yourself, and you have to make other people to know that who you are. That's how we build a relationship. So the relationship management. So that through this, we can build relationship with closer and regular communications. That's how we will discuss on this when we go to the battlefield. We necessary to how to maintain the peace building as a role of the mediator. And since we have a doubt within ourselves, so there become the insecurity in our world. So that's why our friends become the enemy. So we have to understand the root cause of the conflict. When people are insecure, there's a risk that they might take stronger
We can hear
or
you.
negative action. So taking care of people's feeling is essential. So we have to try to address their feeling. That's why we have to talk to everybody, everyone. So during this pandemic, there are a lot of suicide cases being done by people because even they could not have control the emotions. Yeah? So this is the emotion control. This intelligence is very important to stay ahead in this world. So we need to address the emotions of the people in every sector of the society. As a leader, as a government leader, he has to understand the people's feeling, the necessity of the country. As a leader, he should be see the requirement, the feeling of the people and his followers. And as we are the social responsible people, we also have to know our neighbor.
Oh, it's gone. I think his network. All right. Wow. And he was already delivering. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Joy, are you ready to take over the floor? Okay, let's move on to Lynn. Lynn, are you available?
Sure.
Are you on the call?
Hi. Hi.
Okay, Joy. Okay, welcome. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good. Good.
So thank you very much for the
Let's hear what you have
opportunity.
to say as regards emotional.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Please go ahead.
All right, thank you. I'd like to try from the perspective of entrepreneurship on emotional intelligence for peace building. And thank you very much, Patricia, for giving us quite an insightful brief on intellectual emotional intelligence by Gottman. I'd like to first give a definition from an entrepreneurial perspective that I made. I said definition of entrepreneurship of emotional intelligence is an entrepreneur who is an enthusiast who sees opportunities through awareness and judiciously capitalizing on it for job creations and other socio-economic development for purposes of driving developmental agenda, therein creating peace, conducive and supportive environment for citizens of a country. Furthermore, I then decided to use the Goldman, the 5 main components to emotional intelligence by Goldman, which have been mentioned by Patricia. There's self-awareness, self-regulation, internal motivation, empathy, social skills. So I would not like to go in details explaining it because this has already been done. But I said the aforementioned enable entrepreneurs to participate in peace building through understanding soft skills and empathetic state, which enables participation on severe conflicts to meet situation through their services and goodwill to their communities. So with all these components of emotional intelligence, it gives us as entrepreneurs the ideas, the understanding of our environments and the right products or services that we need to offer our communities in order to mitigate peace. For instance, if we have what we call the NAWEC, it's like a monopolized institution in Gambia. They provide us with electricity and water. And with this being said, if there is no, anytime there's no water or there are shortage of water and electricity, the whole country complains. So imagine as an entrepreneur, we see that this is a major problem which could lead to chaos or drama in our society. Entrepreneurs now have that emotional or self-awareness using an internal and empathetic state in order to decide to penetrate the market to mitigate, solve a problem being that there's no water or there's no adequate electricity supplied by the government entity, and using that platform to creating a better a more useful and better understanding between the people and the provider of water, and creating a new opportunity or new dimension for getting this solved. So I also want to look at entrepreneurship as a means of decent work, and how does it really relate to peace building. I think it's important that we know that economic growth and job creation is a possible means of mitigating peace building in a country. If there are no adequate job opportunities, or there are no employments for people with the right skill sets, or the right people are not placed in the right positions, then there could be chaos as well. People will start coming up with issues that are outstanding. They cannot pay for their health facilities. They won't be able to pay for their children's education. The needs and wants of the people would kind of be neglected, so to say. And most of us cannot be able to ascend to the Maslow hierarchy of needs, which is very paramount for every family and every person that is on this platform, because our entire goal is to meet to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is very important. Consistent deprivation of employment opportunities and decent job can lead to chaos, and an increase in the entrepreneurs can create a better unifying community and strengthen relations with governments. So if we have more entrepreneurs coming into play, it means that we can achieve SDG 8, being decent work. That, okay, let's assume that in a country like Sudan or Afghan that often gets into chaos and conflict, in order to maintain peace, you see that citizens always complain about the economic state of the country. They talk about recession, they talk about inflation, all of these major things that could lead to chaos, or the dismantling of peace building. So using emotional intelligence would help both entrepreneurs and the government to mitigate this factor as a result of entrepreneurship as a means of decent work. So I'd like to take you to the SDGs and a fair business environment as incubators for peace. Access to entrepreneurial opportunities requires a favorable investment climate and a fair enforcement of regulations, and the SDGs provide a base for the creation of such conditions. Remember, we have the framework that starts from SDG from 1 to 17, 17 being partnership, and a part of it innovation, and so on and so forth. So which tells us that it's important that we focus on these aspects of growing into the peaceful environment we want. Because if we can unify, or we can endeavor to apply and implement the SDG goals in our various communities, then we can really give peace a chance, and then it makes it easier for conflict resolutions moving forward. A fair and competitive business environment is one indicator of good and just economic governance, increases the likelihood of equitable economic distribution. Countries with the least business-friendly regulation are also likely to have high income inequality, a known driver to unrest and violence. So, in a country like Nigeria, often we hear in the news that people are not happy. It's either you have strikes, or you have all things that are unrelated to, the business environment or the economy. It deprives the economy from moving or driving. So I think we should also take a typical example with this pandemic. The pandemic has also brought us a bit of emotional defects, ranging from us not having our social life as we often did. They say all work, no play makes Jack a dull boy, which boils down to say that in order to maintain peace, we need a very comfortable and friendly environment. And remember, as a business person, or to attract foreign direct investment, we definitely need a very conducive environment with the right regulations, make sure that we implement it as much as we can in order to attract people to come invest in our countries. I know there could be arguments about foreign direct investment, but we can leave it for later, hence we'll focus on sustainable development goals. So overall, I like to say that we use the Goldman, we use the Goldman 5 components to emotional intelligence to diffuse on how entrepreneurship could help in peace building. So all of these factors that have been mentioned as well could help in peace building using emotional intelligence or spiritual intelligence. The father had mentioned about emotional intelligence, and Patricia, of course, ranging from wisdom, etc., etc. So we hope that with the fusion of both spiritual and emotional intelligence, entrepreneurs could further push the agenda of peace and conflict resolutions. Because remember, these people have followers. A person like Jack Ma have helped a lot of countries. So if anything is to happen to him today, the world's going to come out and support him. We have great philanthropists as well, being social entrepreneurs and so on and so forth. So we hope that using this mechanism and bringing entrepreneurs on board could really help to foster the agenda of peace building through emotional intelligence and spirituality. And thank God we had, I don't know if we have Imam around to, the father have really said a good job, said something really significant. And we hope that that's the same, the alignment of other counterparts, like the Buddhists, the atheists, and so on and so forth. Thank you very much. My name is Joy Mwama, and I'm the CEO of Megaki Consultancy and Marketing Agency. Like I said earlier, please, I'd like to network with all of you because I believe there's so much we can all do together. Thank you on this note, and over to you, Joseph.
No problem. Yeah, a great pleasure. Thank you so much and welcome. I will try as much as possible to add you to the forum so that you can be able to do the networking very well. You see, everyone keeps going back and according back to what Madam Patricia had said. She had just anyway, it's a good start and it was a good foundation. We greatly appreciate that. Okay, I think we need to get to the next speaker. Madam Lynn, are you very much ready for us now?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everyone.
Good.
Nigerian time is 7:18.
Okay, over to you.
Thank you so much to the organizers of this forum. It's really been a brilliant and very stimulating experience. Thank you to Madam Janice Da Silva, though she's not here. Thank you to all the speakers. I really appreciate you. Our dear Dr. Patricia Ngena gave us a platform. Father Justin, I think, gave us a platform to really talk about this in extensive ways. And many thanks to Joy as well for giving us the entrepreneurship perspective of peace and development. And in celebration of the International Day of Peace, we all know that on the 21st, United Nations is taking this out. And we, as a people, as a group, we're trying to look at ways forward. So there'll be no need to go over what other people have discussed, but let me just go back a bit to go forward. Yesterday, I was part of the forum and I really had a good time because we talked about very crucial things like peace will enable us achieve the development goals. Peace and human rights are inseparable. It takes peace to negotiate human rights policies. Peace is personal before it's general, and I know that most of the speakers have agreed to that. And without going back to what has been discussed, we'll just summarize by saying that every one of the speakers has pointed out that there has to be a balance from the spiritual and then emotional point of view for you to talk about peace. So there has to be that balance emotionally and spiritually. So before you preach peace, there must be something you'll give. You can't give what you don't have. So even if you are emotionally intelligent, you have to be spiritually aware, then you cannot bring peace forward. So as a people, we know that is a ripple effect. Whatever you're doing in your community, in your location, wherever you find yourself, will get to a greater good. Let me draw a line from what someone said yesterday. He said, grassroots education is key. So if grassroots education is key, then, and we are all aware of that, it will help us to look at the bigger picture. So if we begin to educate the youth, educate our community, educate people around us, as much as we are aware, because we have to have it before we can give it, about peace education, about emotional intelligence, about spiritual awareness, then we can now collaborate to do things that will make peace come to the forefront. So I want to thank all of us. There's no need to go back to everything that everyone has said, but in conclusion, I would say that the bottom line is a balance between peace and emotional intelligence. We cannot give what we don't have. Peace starts from us. Peace is personal before it's general. So if every one of us will play our part, then we can achieve peace in the worldwide. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, all the speakers. Really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynn. Peace is first personal before it becomes general. I think I have that. Thank you so much. Okay, over to you, Princess Dorin. Are you very much ready for us? Are you on the call?
Very ready. Can you hear me?
Okay, we
You
can hear
me?
you clearly. Over to you,
Oh.
please. Yes.
Let me not waste time. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm not on the banner.
Introduce yourself. Yeah.
Because I was supposed to be in yesterday's webinar, but I didn't make it. And I appreciate this chance for today. Without further ado, you already heard my name, Princess Doreen, but I'm called Doreen Susan from Rwanda. Fellow speakers and ambassadors and esteemed viewers, greetings to you all in love and peace. I delightfully express my gratitude to Janice and the team, that's you, Joseph, for organizing this webinar and allowing me to be a part of this meaningful and impactful movement yet again. I cannot quite put in words the value of the opportunity you're handing us all, especially for me, for giving me a chance to put a brick of on the house of peace in the world today. Cutting to the chase, our designated theme tonight is emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence for peace. Patricia, Justin Ekene, Kim Harris, everybody. It's like they read my presentation. I don't know what I have to say now. They said everything I had to say. But I'll just try to summarize and wrap up because I don't have to go into the details of everything that everybody else has said. But when I read about the subject, my mind ran quickly to find out the difference between emotional intelligence and spiritual intelligence. And I wondered which one is more important. Is it the same? Are they both equally required? And I realized that they are, like Patricia and Justin Ekene said, they are different in a way. One is more about the ego and the other is more from like inherent from a superior power. So I won't go into the details of that, but I saw 5 aspects that can show you the difference for you to realize whether you're working from emotional intelligence or you're working from spiritual intelligence. One is positivity. You realize that with spiritual intelligence, when you are working under spiritual intelligence, you're more positive than when you're working under emotional intelligence. With emotional intelligence, there are more negative emotions like anger, guilt. I think Patricia elaborated all that, but when you are working under spiritual intelligence, you're more hopeful. For example, in the COVID crisis, if you are let go from your job, you will have a more positive mindset or attitude towards that, and you will not feel like it was all about you. You will have generally a positive attitude. The other aspect is struggles with the ego. You find that when you're working under spiritual intelligence, you'll be working from the soul. But when you're working under emotional intelligence, it is like Pastor Justin Ekene said, it's more about you, the ego. It's you're fighting for what works for you. And yet we're supposed to look at others more than just ourselves. If the driver is our ego, then we're not going to achieve or attain true peace. The other one is not threatened, like the point says. When you're working with spiritual intelligence, your identity is more from the perspective of the soul. But when you're working with emotional intelligence, you kind of connect your identity with your experience, with your abilities, more than the soul. And that causes conflict and stress within you. You feel threatened. But if you're on a spiritual intelligence level, you won't feel threatened. There won't be that struggle within you. The other one is more than a good ego. like Patricia talked about, she elaborated the parameters of emotional intelligence and how good it is to be self-aware and all that stuff. But from a report that I got my research, it's that if you're working from emotional intelligence, even if you have all that self-awareness, you have all, like you've mastered your emotions, you're still working, your ego is still on the driver's seat. And if your ego is still on the driver's seat, you know how dangerous that can be. So it's really, I think, important for us to attain much more than just the emotional mastery, but attain spiritual intelligence. The last one is qualities and capabilities of the soul. And then I would like to say, I think Pastor Ekene said it, like I said, it's like he read my presentation. In the absence of spiritual intelligence, your emotional intelligence serves your ego. So you know how disastrous that can be. I would like to close my presentation with 2 quotes. When you make peace with yourself, you make peace with the world. That was a quote by Maha Ghosananda. And the last one is, if you want peace, you don't talk to your friends, you talk to your enemies. I found that very powerful. Thank you for having me.
Wow. I think I've listed out a whole lot of points, but I think I'll take that last one. If you want peace, don't talk to your friends, talk to your enemies. How true. Anyway, let's get to the practical and we'll understand better. Okay, I think we have 1 or 2 more speakers. Do we have Anis Houdin on call? Hello? Do we have Ambassador Anis Houdin? Okay. What about Ambassador Doris Mawusi? Wow. What about Ambassador Nabila Abbas? Anyway, to round up the show, I think Dr. Mona talk. Let's hear what you have to say as regards this topic. Dr. Mona, are you on call? Dr. Mona, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Good. Welcome. Let's hear what you have to say as regards emotional and spiritual intelligence when it comes to peace building.
That first
Round
time
up the show.
For your side, your webinar, first time I'm coming, and I try to listen for all, and the last one I will speak. You understand? You listen me? You hear me? Hello?
We heard you very well.
Hello?
We heard you very well. We heard you. Hello, we heard you.
Okay. So I told you I want to speak last one. If you give me that chance, I will be happy.
Yes, you are the last to speak on this show. We just need to hear from you. Let's hear what you have to say as we round up the show.
Yes, let me listen for all at the first, and then give me to speak last one.
Okay, we understand you. Maria,
okay.
Are you there?
I'm waiting. I'm listening.
We are done with the show. Just say what you have to say now, then we round up the show.
Yes. I think you have problem. You cannot hear me, or I cannot.
Maria, are you there? Maria, are you there? Okay. If we have nothing, if none of our speakers are here to say any other thing, I think I want to hear a last word from 3 speakers. Madam Patricia Ekene, Priest Justin, and probably Mustan. Let's just hear a line of thoughts from you as we round up this show. Thank you. Over to you, Madam Patricia Ngene.
Open the mic. Mic closed. Your mic is still closed.
Unmute yourself. We can hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I really took a while, so someone else can take my time and round up. I'm really grateful. I don't want to take more time than I've already taken. Let someone else speak, and
Okay. Okay.
I'll be very grateful.
Okay. Priest Kenny, can you just give us a rounding summary of it all?
I think
we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
We can. Good. We can hear you now.
Okay. It's just to also congratulate all of us. We did so well. It's a very hot topic, and it's what we need in our world today. We must maintain peace and sustain the peace. So I thank you all for your participation. I feel so delighted because I learned a lot from all the presentations. I am looking forward for more. So it's just not about speaking and it's very easy. You say talk is cheap, but what is important is putting them into practice. If we put them into practice, you see that we can begin to enjoy peace. It will begin to flow like a river into our hearts, then out. Thank you. God bless you all. I'm going out now and all the best. We meet next time. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye. Thanks so much. It's nice having you all on the show. We greatly appreciate your time and your commitment. And again, we give it up to Ambassador Janice Da Silva for organizing this and for allowing us to share our thoughts as regards this. We greatly appreciate. Thank you so much, everyone. On this note, we round up the show. Thank you so much. Don't forget, peace starts with you and I, and peace is first personal before it becomes general. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Please let's keep the communication going. Let's keep the networking going on the platform. Please let's keep the networking going and the relationship. I think that will take us to the next level. Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye. Don't use it.